Let's also see the opposite in action. We pass data into our message component. Now let's create a custom event to pass it from the message component back to the app component. Let's say we want to make this edit button work. We want to be able to click it, and upon clicking it, we won't bring up an input field yet, but we want to change it to a static new content, for example. So we want to hook up the edit button here, and we want to listen to the click event, which we do by using parentheses, click parentheses, and then whatever code we want to execute upon a click event between the quotation marks. You have a couple of other events available too, basically all the default DOM events you have on an element. And you can find them out by simply visiting the references you find in the internet on them, or simply print such an element to the JavaScript console and inspect it there. Use all events which are normally named on, click and so on, without the on, and then just, well, the other part, click, mouse over, whatever, with a lowercase starting letter. With that, I hooked up this link to the click listener, and then here, let's say I want to execute on edit. Now this will execute the onEdit method in my message component TypeScript file, in this class to be precise, which of course doesn't exist. So let me quickly create the onEdit method. With that I can now log, or let's not log, let's alert. It worked, just to see if this, well, works. So after saving this and reloading the application, if we click the edit button, we see it worked. So we hooked up this edit button to the event. The next step, of course, is to now pass this event onto the app component. Now, we can't listen to events in the child components in our app component. And that is good because we certainly don't want to get all the events which occur there. But we can explicitly create an event which we pass there. You learned about this in these slides before. Add output is the key here. This also needs to be imported from add Angular core. And then you need parentheses, just like when using add input. You could assign an alias which you use outside of this component, but I will not. And then choose any event name you want. I'll name it added clicked. Now here's an important part. This is not just a normal property, it is an event emitter, which is an object Angular 2 offers you. So let's create a new event emitter here, which is basically an object which, as the name says, it allows us to create or emit events and also listen to them. So this also has to be imported from add Angular core. And this new event emitter is a generic type. If you don't know what generics are, basically generics are a feature TypeScript offers us. They also exist in other languages, which allow you to create classes, like event emitter here, which can use multiple types. The event emitter doesn't care which type of data you pass or use in the event, but it would be nice to tell it at the point of time we create it. So therefore here I know I will simply pass a string. So I will do this by using a lower than and a greater than sign, and in between the type of data I will use in this event emitter, string. If you don't know which data you will use, you could use any, by the way. So with that, I can now in the onEdit method use my added clicked property, which is this event emitter in the end, and then call the emit method, which means emit a new event. And here as an argument, I can pass any data I want to pass. You don't have to, but you can. And here I want to pass a new value. This is the new string I want to assign as a message content. Of course, choose the value you want to use. Now this emits my own event. It also makes it listenable from outside by adding add output. The last step is to listen to it. So in the app component, which is the parent component, here I will add a new thing to my app message selector, to this element I created. I will listen to my own event. So here I use parentheses again, and then added clicked, which is the event name I chose here, and then whatever code I want to execute. So like before with just click the built-in event, now I'm listening to my own event, but I do the same thing with it. I execute some code once it appears. And here I could listen, or I could create a new method to which I want to execute, but I could also simply say message content equals, And now what? I want it to equal the content I pass through the event. So this a new value string. Now AngularQ gives you a generic way to access the value passed through a custom event. $event. This object here, this built-in object which gets available or is made available when you listen to events, always holds the value you pass. That's just something you have to keep in mind. $event. So with this, I'm assigning the value I pass through the event to my message content field, well, of this message property I create here. With that, if I save it and then reload my application, let's see what happens if I click edit. You see that we changed this to a new value here. Let's see it again. Bam. This is how you set up your own event, how you use it to pass data, and how you listen to it. Another very powerful feature to be able to not only pass data from a parent to a child component, but also do it the other way around, from the child to the parent component through a custom event.